Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. In one of our previous videos you would have seen that we've had the screed installed and it is now set. We've left this section out by here so we can build a concrete form or screed form so it falls into the shower outlet, which is going to go across this back edge. You can see the waste which is right by there, so we do need to strip this out at some point. But our next step will be installing studwork wall across the blockwork. I do need to put a stud up this side and all this pipe's in the way. So before we start this, we're going to move outside, dig the trench for the water, pull it up into the kitchen so we can get rid of all this. This is our entry point up into the house. We've got a swept bend out of UPVC. It's got a cap on at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the blue pipe down here in a minute. I'm going to slide this bung over the end. So now that the pipe is gone, I can start putting my sole plate in, put a header and tack it to the rafters, tack it to the joists, and then we can put all our uprights in. There's two ways to build a stud wall. One is just building the frame on the floor, pulling it up and then fixing it in place. And the other one's building it in situ, which means you put single pieces in, pull the uprights in. Because of the limited space, I haven't got enough room to put a wall in and flip her up. So we're going to build it in situ. So this room is going to be our bathroom. As you can see, this is where the wall is going to go in an L shape here. We're going to have a doorway right by here, and we still need to knock out all this pillar and take all the electrics out of the way. So we've had a lot of subscribers over the last couple of weeks. So for those who don't know, I am a carpenter by trade. I actually work in an office now, but starting to come into my element. I'm going to be doing stud walls, going to be fitting kitchens, bathrooms, everything. So it's going to be great. So we're going to jump on this stud wall, get it fitted, and then move on to something else. Right guys, so although these blocks are on top of concrete, which is on top of DBC, just as an extra precaution, I'm just putting a roll of damp-proof membrane over the top of these blocks. It's like £2 a roll and it's like 30 meters, so there's no point in not doing it. Timber will sit on top of this and it'll stop any transfer of possible moisture coming through the floor. Right guys, so the same as across the floor, I'm putting the DPC on the external wall just to stop any potential transfer of moisture through. I'm going to show you a little bit of detail when you get to corners of stud walls. So if you can imagine, this is going to be our next stud wall, and what we don't want to do is stick one timber on the end here, and then when we butt in here, we've got no timber on the end here, so if the tash comes round. So what we do is we stick a timber here, and then we pack out with noggins in between the thickness of another timber, like so. We'll put a load of packers up the top, and then when it comes to fitting this upright, one, it'll fix to the stud on this side, and two, once you run your plasterboard across, you've got something to fix into with your plasterboard. And that is this stud wall done now, guys. Just need to finish this return tomorrow. It's been a long day, it's a hot day, so we can call it a night and we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Right guys, so this is the detail I was on about. We've got our one length of timber here, one timber packer, and then the other timber here. And the reason for that is if you come around here, you've got the base plate or sole plate there, you've got your upright, and now we have a full timber up this edge to fix plasterboard into, and then we can butt our other plasterboard into that corner. Otherwise, the timber would just sat along on this back edge and it would have just been flapping in the wind. When you've got a lip in your timber and you're not strong enough to pull it out and you need to pin it in, just get a screw in like so, pull it through, line it up, and get some nails in. Right guys, so we've finished the stud walling apart from the noggins. So that's going to leave it here for tonight. But if you come on in, you get a real sense of the space of the bathroom. So we're going to have a toilet in this area here with like an IPS system that goes all the way up. Have some sort of cupboard storage by there. We're going to have a nice little vanity unit by here with a mirror. We're going to have a dividing glass screen by here somewhere, most of the way across. Nice big shower area with a fall into a shower tray. And then we're going to have a bit of a plinth upstand where the bath's going to go. That's sort of just to stop any water getting behind the bath. And then we're thinking about having a stud wall coming out here, bit of a shelf, maybe one of those like tile sort of cubbies. That's the one they're called, niches, with the taps built into the wall, falling out. So yeah, we're going to have a look at all the bathroom stuff. We're going to try and get it ordered and then get it all delivered at once, and then we can start working out where everything goes, where I need to put all noggins and board everything. So yeah, that is where we're at the moment. Right guys, so we've had the bath delivered, we've had the shower tray delivered, so we're going to start working on building up the platform by here. I need to screed in the falls to the outlet, so I need to adapt all the ways for that. And I'm just going around now with my lump hammer because where we put the form in, there was a bit of a lip and it kicked up around all the edge here. So I'm just using this to grind off the edge, make sure it's flat, ready for when I do the screeding. So this is the bathtub that we've gone for. It's a freestanding bath. We got it from Better Bathrooms. It was the cheapest freestanding bath like this we could find, which was about £500, as opposed to some of the £1,500 to £2,000 bathtub. This is how thin the frame is around the edge, very slimline, very well built for how cheap it was. And then it comes with a nice little white bath trap, so it looks good to me. So this is the shower outlet we're going for. The way you do it, you got to balance it up, level it all out, and get the waste on the back connected into here. It's got a removable tray, which we're going to set in the tiles, which are in the floor here as well. And then the tiles from here will butt up to that lip, and it should all be flush all the way through, and all you'll see is the edge of this silver. Right, so the plan for the bathtub is to raise her up on a plinth, just going to be 100mm. We're going to border out and then tile her all. The reason for this is we're sort of going to make our little shower tray to stop water running up past the bath. And then from there, we're going to build out our wall, little stud wall, 100mm, and we're going to stick in the taps. We're not sure how high we're going to have the wall, but it's going to be like a feature. So that is the plan, and we'll go from there. As you would have seen in one of the other videos, guys, I shutted off this area to create our shower tray. All I need to do now is I need to adjust this pipe height, inset this tray to the correct level, get this connected into this bung with this pipe into that waste, test it before we put all the screed down, and then start the screed. So before I start making this all permanent, putting screed in place, I just want to test that all my fittings are not leaking. So just simply going to fill it up with water. And as you can see, that seems to be working pretty well. I'll double check now to make sure none of the fittings are leaking, and then we can crack on with screed. So I'm just putting the mix on for the screed, doing a bit of research, a 1:4 ratio, 1 cement, 4 sand, and then 0.5 water. So I'll probably do half a bucket now to get this to the right consistency. You want it sort of so you can compact it, it stays together, but you don't want it soaking wet and you don't want it too dry. So getting the right mixture is key to getting a nice screed. as this is my first time mixing screed, I'm not 100% sure this is wet enough or if it's too dry, but putting it into a clump, it's staying in a ball, so I think that might be good enough for our mix. So I'm going to dump this around the shower tray. It's a little bit low, so what I want to try and do is just build this up, get it parallel to the wall and center to my tray. Once it's all level, then I can put a slurry around the concrete and finish the rest of the screeding. We have now got the shower tray in and level, all compacted round so it's sturdy. I'm going to work on my back edge first and then work across. I need to put some slurry across the edge of these just to sort of bond the screed and the liquid screed together. That is the screed laid with the levels and falls. I did try and trowel it off as best as I could. Realistically, I needed a float, but that's perfect for laying tiles on. So we're just going to cover it with a bit of plastic, just so it don't dry out too quickly. Leave it for a few days, and then after 3 or 4 days, we'll probably be able to walk on it, and we can carry on with the rest of the bathroom.
Catch up with us in next week's video where we continue the bathroom renovation.